Happy Monday, everyone. So starts, our next week of online learning. As a matter of fact, we're almost at the finish line, if you can believe that. We have new chapter, new content this week, and then we have new content next week, and then the following week is just going to be the exam. So we are almost here to the finish line, and there's not a whole lot left we've got to cover, which I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready for this semester to end. It's been interesting, to say the least. Obviously, there have been some really unique challenges that hopefully we'll not necessarily have to face again, or if we do, we will sort of kind of know what to expect and we can modify things so we don't have to be in the same situation that we are now. At least that's the goal. So here we are in Unit 4. We're in our second week of learning in Unit 4. For our lecture material this week, we're looking at Chapter 6. Chapter 6 is a chapter on, generally called Conservation and Management is the name of the chapter. What you'll find is that we're going to be talking about specifically two types of biomes that we've discussed. We're going to talk about the use and management of forests and the use and management of grasslands, because those are the two types of biomes that humans in particular are impacting the most. So in this chapter, we'll learn again more about sort of the uses of each of those things. I did go ahead and do a relatively short lecture video for this particular topic. I had gotten away from that recently with some of the other videos that I had used, but there wasn't really a good video that I think kind of expressed all that was in this particular chapter, so I went ahead and did a lecture video. Your assignment for this week is looking at palm oil and why palm oil is actually a driver of ecosystem destruction, particularly in parts of Southeast Asia in particular. So if you don't know what palm oil is or you're not familiar with it, there's a very quick little video here that describes what palm oil is and what the problems are with it. And then all I want you to do is answer just these 4 questions related to this. So once again, you can go ahead and click on the link itself, and it will allow you to just write your submission. So you can just go ahead and type your answers in here if you'd like, or if you'd rather go ahead and upload a document, you can do that as well. So again, just what it is, what things you use that have palm oil in them. You might have to do a little digging into your cabinets to figure out what those are, and questions about sustainability, essentially. So that's our activity for this week. As far as lab is concerned, lab is a little different. We're no longer going to be using the lab manuals. So we're essentially done with the lab manual at this point. I made this decision based on the fact that the lab that was originally scheduled for this week, the wildlife lab, is the lab that we were going to do, and it's just too hard to accomplish that using simulated data. So unlike last week with the plants, where I could give you some information about what plants you would find and you could come up with those, diversity calculations for the different types of habitats we have at Harper campus, I can't simulate walking outside and recording different types of animals that we see. It's just kind of too difficult. So what I've done is I have just decided that both this week and next week, which are our last 2 labs, we're just going to do something a little bit different. This week is an ecosystem scavenger hunt. So it requires you to go back a little bit and remember some of the things that we discussed when we were talking about what ecosystems are. So you're going to have to remember terms like biotic and abiotic. You're going to have to remember things like competition. So it'll require a little bit of, again, sort of maybe looking at some of those previous terms if you've forgotten them, or accessing some of that prior knowledge, if you will. You can do this anywhere. You can do this in your backyard. If you have the ability to go to a nearby park, you can do that. So again, the nice thing about this is wherever you can find some green space is where you can find, sorry, my dog sees a squirrel or something, I don't know. Wherever you can find green space, you can actually do this activity. So it's taking an extremely long time for my computer to work this morning. So, oh, there it is. So again, you're going to go someplace, you're going to tell me sort of where you are, and then you're going to look for different things. You're going to look for abiotic components of the ecosystem, plants, animals, give me a population. Tell me, where biotic components are reacting to abiotic components. And you're going to write these things out for me. Then you'll notice I have little cameras located next to some of these. So your location, evidence of a biotic component reacting with an abiotic component, and evidence of an animal's home. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to take pictures of these three things, and I'd like you to go onto my Padlet, and I would like you to upload them to my Padlet so that we can see some of these things. So let's see some of these, great places where we're looking for these ecosystem interactions, and let's see some of the evidence that you can find. So you will, once again, easy to use these. You just double click on it. Okay, in the title, you can write your name, but it will be your name, and then tell me what the picture is. So if this is the location, write location. If this is the animal home, write animal home. Okay, you get the idea here. And then again, you'll just upload your picture from here. So that gives me, again, just me and the other members of the class, just a little bit of information about sort of what these nice places are that we're investigating. So that and the lab quiz is all we have for lab this week. So again, we're not doing any pages from the lab anymore. Next week, there will be some similar type of assignment for you for our very final lab. It will be some type of a worksheet that I'll have you complete, most likely, again, going outside to do something. Speaking of lab pages, I will be doing a separate video that I will send out to you all this week about how you can turn in your lab pages to me. Because of the extension of the stay-at-home order, we can't meet anywhere, and I can't physically collect those pages. So I'm going to essentially give you 3 different ways to turn your lab pages into me. All of it is going to be through an online system. Again, we can use email, we can use Blackboard, and there's an app called Shobi that I'm going to show you. And all of those are, again, different ways that you can get that information to me. I'm going to give you essentially until the end of our sort of semester to get that information into me. So I'd like to get all of your lab pages collected by, let's see here. Let's call it this last week here. So by May 15th, let's call it. I'd like to get all your lab pages collected by May 15th. So I have time to look through them and give you credit and all of those types of things. So again, I'm going to do a separate video that sort of goes through all of that. So in addition to sort of our normal course of lecture and lab materials, this week the Thursday lab is posting a blog. The Monday lab is responding to the blogs. We have blogs this week and we have blogs next week, and I believe that's it. So for most of you, this will be your final blog post. This will be your final blog responses. So I know it's getting a little bit more difficult to respond to the blogs because we're all kind of at home. Some of us are working, some of us are just staying home, so there's not quite as much to comment on, and I totally get it. I understand that too. So that's sort of part of what our new reality is and part of what we're sort of dealing with. So I get it. Don't worry if you don't feel like you have a whole lot to say. We all totally understand. So I will have office hours, which I'm sorry, let me pause here. My office hours are, once again, this week, tomorrow at 1 o'clock and Thursday at 10 a.m. If you have any additional questions or there's another time that you would like to chat with me, please let me know. I'd be happy to set that up with you. And we're here on the home stretch, everybody. We're almost finished. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your understanding. We're, again, working through a new normal right now. And for those of you taking summer courses, this will kind of continue to be sort of the pattern that you're going to follow. Hopefully your instructors have had a chance to set up their classes to be fully online for the summer so they know what's coming. So again, hopefully you will have instructors who have now had some experience with this format, if some of your previous instructors have not. I don't know if I mentioned this to everyone, but I've been fortunate enough to have been teaching online classes for quite some time now. As a matter of fact, I am also taking classes currently myself about teaching online. So I was busy all weekend long actually working on a project for my online class that I am taking myself. So I apologize for not sending out my weekly summary that I normally do, my weekly summary email, but I just got lost in projects myself this weekend trying to complete my own online class. So again, I get it. I am a student as well on this side also. So I can understand that it can certainly be frustrating if you're just constantly doing these online classes, and especially with instructors who may not have had a lot of experience doing this. But the good news is this has all kind of put us in a place where hopefully everyone now has experience. So hopefully, again, any courses you're taking this summer, you'll have a better experience with. And I don't know about the fall. That's kind of the big question right now. We have no idea what lies ahead of us. The college has not made any decision as far as whether or not we're going to have fully in-person classes, whether we're going to have a combination of in-person and online classes, or how it's going to work. So as soon as I don't believe that we'll have that information before the semester ends. So I would just pay careful attention to your emails and the information coming out from Harper as regards to that. If I do hear anything before our semester ends officially, I will certainly pass that information on to you. But again, we haven't gotten any word about that. I think there's a lot of unknowns and a lot of what ifs that we still have to contend with. So, but in any case, we are all resilient, and I love the positivity and I through the blogs, and I love the encouragement that you all are giving each other. And I just give you a lot of credit for being able to sort of roll with all of this and to keep a positive attitude. So I really appreciate it. Your other instructors really appreciate it. I know it's not what you would have chosen for yourself, but it was what we were given. And again, I appreciate everything that you guys have done to stay engaged and to stay positive and to stay on top of things. So thank you very, very, very much. And again, if you have any questions, please let me know. Have a great week, everybody.